The boomers will get on a BlackRock cruise with BlackRock shirts. The boomers, because one of the problems in the American real estate market is boomers will not sell their houses for anything under a $1.6 million profit. They just won't. They won't, because they like to lord them. They like to lord around them. They like to make their kids feel guilty. They like to go, you could never afford it. They like to tell you how cheap the house was when they bought it. And then this is every Thanksgiving or Christmas, somebody will go, pick this up for $200,000. Now it's worth 1.8. Yeah. And then it's their millennial kids are sitting there saddled with student loan debt. And the boomers are, it's their last fuck you before they leave the planet.
Yeah.
They're a spiteful generation of monsters. I respect it. But their last fuck you before they leave the planet is instead of selling their houses for, I don't know, a $900,000 profit, they just won't put them on the market. Some boomers, which is hilarious, that we read the articles on my show, they're actually retiring to bigger houses. They're sizing up. It's sick. It's like insane. The most important thing for the boomer is to be right. And that's their main thing. But one of the things that makes them right is what they have. They go, well, how can I be wrong? Look at this fucking house. Look where we're sitting. I've got 13-foot ceilings. Don't tell me you know about Gaza. You don't.
Man, that might be the smartest thing Tim Dillon's ever said. Boomers care nothing more
Tim
than
Dillon's
being
pretty good, huh?
I love Tim Dillon.
Huge Tim Dillon fan. Huge Tim Dillon fan. Yeah, big fan. But he's right. He's absolutely right. I mean, these guys will sit, but also, all right, let's also give the boomers their just due. If you have that much equity in your house, why sell? You got all that credit. This is now. I'm going to get on my.
I like how he said 1.6, like 1.5 million, not enough.
Yeah,
I need an extra $100,000.
This is one of the things that happened with our what they call it, the racial reckoning, and like everything that happened the last 3 years. Was wild to me that out of all the things we were talking about policing, we're talking about inequity, equity, whatever. Credit score was never brought up. It was access to credit was never once brought up by anybody, which tells me that the banks were really behind the whole thing, to be honest, because there's nothing that creates inequality like credit score. Nothing. It's not even close. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but that's my feeling on it.
No, yeah, I remember it was 2020, I think, and there were certain companies, I don't remember which one, that were saying if you sell us your data, we'll like up your credit score with us.
I think they're doing that. I think that's actually been done in China, and it's been tested in Europe, where part of the ESG program is will increase your credit score.
No, I think the U.S. there was a couple private companies that were trying to see if anyone would bite on it. And so, of course you would if like that 1%.
I just assume they're taking it anyway.
Exactly, that too, unless you have something to kind of protect yourself, whether it's like a VPN or some kind of encryption.
Yeah. You don't know how much credit score affects your life until you destroy it. I destroyed
I've been calling
my
for
credit score.
a debt strike for years. I've been calling for a national debt strike for years. You know, they can't get us all.
How would a national debt strike work, Mick?
I'll let you handle my light work and go ahead and explain that.
Yeah, that's
in layman's terms. If I said I'd use too many big words, then people would it'd be
totally
off-putting.
I totally the way that we get power back in this country, non-violently, is a citizen debt strike. It's not paying your taxes. That's illegal. They can put you in jail. We don't have debtors' prisons in America. If we can all get together and orchestrate a collective where we agree we're not going to pay. BlackRock is over leveraged to the hilt. BlackRock operates on credit. The United States of America is how much in debt. We operate on credit. We're spending money from 2150 right now, technically, right? We're how many trillions of dollars in debt? If we as a people decided that we came together and, I mean, 1 million of us, 2 million of us decided, no, we're not paying. I don't care what you do with the student loans. We're not paying them. I don't care what you do with mortgages. I'm not paying them. They don't have the people. They don't have the resources. It would crumble so fast. It would make 2008 look like a hiccup. And then we can renegotiate. We say, no, we're not buying in. We're not. And then, we would do that for a day, and then they'd probably just escheat all of our
So just
earnings.
Possession is 9/10 of the law, come take my house kind of a thing?
Yeah.
I went to this thing, it was called Camp Omega, and they were talking about that. There is kind of this apocalyptic course towards the end of it, and the guy that was running it was suggesting that you put as little money down on basically everything as possible, because when shit hits the fan, no one's going to be going through the ledger and saying, well, who owes this on this house? It's like, I have my claim on it, come take it, kind of a thing.
Well, so they call that modern monetary theory. And modern monetary theory, so for the longest time when we were on the gold standard, I don't want to get too boring here, but the money used to have tangible value. And then if somebody went too deep into debt, the idea is your money is worth less, because if you don't pay me back, I have to then go to war to get it, and there would be extreme valuations. Now there's unlimited credit. Unlimited credit means that the money really has no value, really, if you really think about it, right? So so modern monetary theory is run up as much credit as possible, and who's ever holding the bag last loses. What happens if we go $100 trillion in debt? I don't know. The comet hits, and then what happens? So
money's fake.
That's the idea. But then the problem becomes, if you're really wealthy and you have access to credit, and a burger is now worth $30, well, it's not a big deal. I'll just take out a loan against my $1.6 million house, and I'll pay the $30 burger. What's wrong with you? It's not my fault you're poor. But for the rest of us down here in the real world, we don't get to leverage the rent that we pay.
So the debt strike can kind of help the middle class the most.
The middle class the most. The debt strike helps the middle class because the
the
poor don't
middle
have
class
money.
is who got fucked the hardest by 2008.
Always. If you're poor, you have nothing for them to take away. And if you're rich, you have the money to fight them to take it away, so they don't even go after you. They only go after the low-hanging fruit. The people who have something to lose and don't have the means to defend it. That's why the middle class always gets fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think with the boomers in your life? Do you think that relates? Like, does that relate to you a lot? I think it's fucking hilarious. I think it's so true.
Over the bullseye.
Yeah.
Especially the whole idea of, what's that old song back in the day? If you're so smart, how come you ain't rich? Like, that was that old song back in the day, Yeah. So it's the truth. And I know people very close to me who feel exactly that way. They're like, yeah, if you know so much, how come you're driving a Honda? Okay. I don't know. I mean, it's a fair point.
It's not, you're not wrong.
What you seem like? Go ahead, finish up on the topic.
No, I think there's this another part of that episode. It was an amazing episode. He's like, the boomers, they've been around a really long time and they've acquired next to no wisdom. It's really amazing. It's really amazing. And I was crying. I wanted to send it to my husband so bad. I'm like, oh my God, if this isn't every boomer that we know. And he's like, not particularly a spiritual bunch.
No, there's like a few, probably yoga house moms, maybe a little spiritual, but for the most part, I don't think any of those men from that generation are spiritual, or, you know what I mean, are very zen, or, you know what I mean?
No.
All the ones I know are just type A, you know what I mean? Get it done. Like, hey, they're fucking men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was I guess it was a different time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like the fact that they're not victims, and they don't all that.
I don't know. I know a lot of them that are.
Do you really?
The ones I know
yeah.
are not bitch asses.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
I know a
there's
bunch
not
of
a lot of
bitch-ass
bitch
boomers.
assery. You do?
I know a bunch of bitch ass
Yeah?
boomers.
Really?
For
That's some
sure.
California boomers. They're different than those Jersey, New York boomers. You know what I
Very
mean?
true. It is very regionally.
I think so.
Yeah, that's
I think
very
so.
true. Yeah, I don't know how many Con Ed boomers you grew up with, but yeah.
No, I mean like the not selling of the house. That's my mom. She doesn't listen to any of my podcasts, so I can speak freely here.
Ooh, get her.
Still not good enough. No. Just kidding.
And how does that make you feel, Candace?
I'm gonna turn this into a therapy session. No, she's been trying to get rid of this house in New York forever, like since 2007 or 8. And I'm like, there's something that's maybe a you problem.
Yeah.
If you haven't been able to sell a house, especially during COVID, like you couldn't keep
Right.
a house if you wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So it's just weird.
They are very they're always trying to impress some mystical people, right? It's like, what are people gonna say? Or what are people gonna think?
Oh, the
What
whole
are-
people, yeah.
They're like, always, I can't sell it. Like, I know so and so sold it for X.
I know what it's worth.
I know what it's. They're like, who are you
Yeah.
competing against? She died 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, who are you competing against? Just sell the house and be happy.
Yeah.
You know, or it's. I couldn't agree more. It's a very weird thing being stuck for us in between the boomers and the Gen Z, and we're like looking at it, and we're on two different ends and be like, man, oh God Almighty.
Now we'll see how it all shakes out.
Well,
You
you understand why Gen Z kind of is appreciative or open-minded towards communism, because they look and they say, so I got to work $15 an hour and a beer's $12? Yeah, fuck this. I'm out.
Right.
Yeah, no way, man. And then you sit here and you go, I don't really blame you. I hate you. You're annoying, but I don't really blame you.